Guys, Sledger is back. They've just reworked it, take a look at it. They made it the strongest freeze tower in the game. What better way to see this thing's true power than solo hidden wave? I don't think there is. Let's go do it. Alright, so here we are on a brand new secret map, Simplicity Remaster. We do have admin here because that's the only way to solo hidden wave. But let's go over here, enable hidden wave, and begin a game of Fallen mode. So Sledger costs 950 to place down. This thing can hit 2 enemies at base level. And if you compare it to something like Brawler, well, it's actually going to be really close, which is surprising because Brawler, as we know, is a gem tower, so it's supposed to be like the late game of late game towers. Anyways, I don't know why this wave isn't skipping, so I'm going to cancel timer here. I think I'm gonna get a quick boss right here. Some weird glitch with Fallen here. We automatically skip 2 waves. So I'm gonna miss out on a little bit of money, but you know, at least it's not helping me out in any way. Anyways, golden quick boss here is gonna be for the early game. It's just a little more cost efficient than Sledger. I think what I'm gonna wanna do is probably farm for now and probably get Sledger on like wave 7 for the Fallen Squire. I'm time scaling through some of these earlier enemies because they're really not all that difficult. And also, these heavies are actually a little bit problematic. So I think next wave will be a good time to get Sledger. Here we go. We have $1,000. Let's play Sledger. This map is absolutely amazing for Sledger. And you can see we're doing 7 damage a shot. It has this little spread area for us to hit more than 1 enemy. And so when it hits 1 enemy, it's actually kind of bad because you're getting less than half the DPS of Brawler for even more price. But when it hits 2 enemies and starts slowing them down, that's when you really start to see the value. Now this first upgrade is obviously what you want to get. I mean, you're only paying 400 and you're making this thing so much better. You're making this thing twice as good, and it's not even an exaggeration. So level 1 is definitely a worth it upgrade to get. If you're ever placing Sledger, make sure to go for it. And Squire here, we almost killed it. Now, this thing doesn't get chilled because it has the boss attribute. Thankfully, it only has that the first time it comes out, so that won't be a problem anymore. And this next level is going to make this thing go up to 4 hits, and it's gonna more than double its damage. So if you're able to get all 4 hits with it, then this upgrade is insanely good value. If, like most of the time, you're hitting just 3 or 2 enemies, then not so much. This upgrade is really not all that worth it. And by the looks of it, it brings me to say that level 1 Sledger seems to be the most cost efficient, at least in the early game. Like if you're using Sledger, you'd probably want to get all 6 of your level 1s first. Anyways, here comes wave 9. Let's add a level 1 Sledger to the mix here. Yeah, look at how much damage a shot this thing is doing. It's doing like 20. And when it hits all 3 enemies, 30 damage a shot. For only $1,300, getting like 26 DPS when this thing hits all 3 enemies, that is definitely incredibly broken. Now here comes another Squire. The thing is, the fallen souls that get into the Squire's radius are going to take damage from the Sledger, and the rest of the fallen souls are no problem. Wow, this early game is so easy. Sledger's like a very high end A tier, I would say, for the early game, just if you can get the multiple hits off of it. I mean, look, nothing gets past the Squire. As soon as things get inside of the Squire's range, they die to the splash damage of the Sledger. I'm going to definitely rank this thing higher than Warden if I had the option to rank it right now. Wave 12 here is troublesome, so you know what? Another 2 Sledgers, how about that? I actually got this one to level 2, so we do have a overpowered one right here. Not very worth the money though if you're not getting a bunch of hits on the enemies. Look at how easily they shred through these fallen Squires. I absolutely love this Sledger. I remember using it way back then to just spawn kill fallen mode, and seems like you're going to be able to do something pretty close to that nowadays. Now here comes wave 14. This wave is usually problematic, so I'm going to get my last 2 Sledgers down, and let's just see what happens to this wave. Wow. Nothing made it even anywhere. Look at these Fallens. Oh, never mind. Just this one Fallen. Wow. It just gets slowed down so much. Fallens are so prone to freezing. So if I actually had a level 3 here that lets enemies freeze, that would have been very much worth my money. That being said, I'm still not going to get the level 3 because, I mean, it's a Necromancer right now, which is going to have the boss attribute, so it's not going to get frozen anyways. But here we go, absolutely shredding through this Fallen Necromancer. We didn't even pay that much for this. Now we're going to be able to kill it? Yep, no problem. It's a little bit difficult, but actually, never mind. We got this. This could be a problem, though. We've leaked the Fallen. I mean, they're all kind of low. Yeah, this is actually not even that bad. I killed it. But because things are starting to get tough, I'm going to get the freeze Sledger so we can start freezing these Fallens. And I think you could tell this freeze is kind of busted. This thing also does 45 damage a shot, so if it hits 4 enemies, it's almost $200 a shot. What am I saying, bro? 200 damage, not dollars. That would have been by far the most OP eco tower in the game. Anyways, what you look at here, max farms on wave 18. Think it's time we help out our sledgers here with the commander. And let's do the math on this level 3 upgrade. I think 1 is worth it, but more than 1, not so much. The reason for this is because the first one you get allows it to freeze. The other ones don't really increase the damage enough for it to be worth the price. But level 4 here, however, Icebreaker, 2x damage to frozen enemies. Now, this wave is actually... I forgot, this wave is bad. I had to use a commander ability there to hopefully be okay. Yeah, oh my god, we just totally freeze those. Yeah, we should be completely fine. But as I was trying to say, it's not really worth the money to go for level 3, but level 4, heck yeah. So as I get this here, you'll start seeing this thing do easily 300 damage a shot on average. Now, unfortunately, these fallen hazmats don't get chilled, so we don't get to deal bonus damage to them. But the enemies that we do get to deal double damage to, I mean, yeah, they get shredded. At best, this thing can do 600 damage a shot, which would bring its DPS to probably like 500. So you can get some truly insane value out of Sledger here. And, you know, would you look at what's happening right now? Absolutely clowning on fallen squires here. I'm gonna get all my crook bosses here because we don't have hidden detection. I don't really feel like dying. And here is max level Sledger. Now this I'm just gonna straight up, of course it's worth it. It increases max hits by 50%, nearly doubles the damage, which if you do the math already is like 3 times better for only the price of the Sledger. Unlocks Aftershock, which applies a 20% base damage and a chill. So just a bunch of free damage and chills the enemies. And it chills the enemies up to 80% slowness, while also freezing them longer. So this upgrade is just the king of freezing in this game. And it also does so much damage. I mean, that's like 800 DPS. And that's when these fallen hazmats aren't even chilled, so that we can't do the double damage to them. If you get peak DPS, I think it's 140 times 2, so 280 per hit, times 6 enemies. So realistically, it is possible to deal 1,600 DPS with this thing. I mean, a little less because I'm accounting for commander's buff here. But let's get a few more of these sledgers, and then let's buff up the commander, and I think you can start seeing the shred is real. Keep in mind, that guy was boss, so he was taking half the damage because he wasn't chilled or frozen. Additionally, I think it's safe to just go on timescale 2 here because, well, what you're about to see is nothing making it past the front. Look at this. This is just not fair. Even Brawler wouldn't be that effective. And yet here we are with Sledger, a free tower. Technically Robux if you missed the event. But yes, a free tower here, beating out one of the best gem towers in the game. Now let's use the commander ability here. And see, that got the guy kind of low. And I don't like the fact that he's alive on 3k HP. So I think it's time for my first pursuit. I'm also going to send out some APCs here. Yeah, the no freeze enemies really are the weakness of this thing. Here comes another fallen shield, but I have all of my crook bosses up to level 3 this time around. So hopefully I won't need to rely on the pursuit. Whatever. We'll kill it anyways. There we go. I'm going to get 2 more commanders here so that I can start chaining. Fallen hero got kind of shredded there. All the flying enemies also get completely destroyed by crook bosses and heli. Now in this wave, wave 30, is going to be a tank. If you don't remember, Sledger was known to be the tank shredder. Also, look at the breakers, all gone. Look at Sledger being the tank shredder that it once was. This tank can't move, and there you go. It's just gone. 9k HP down the drain just like that. Let's go back up to speed. This is wave 31, which typically is problematic because of the amount of fallen jesters buffing stuff here. But as you can see, Sledgers make quick work of it. Also, I hope that hidden wave works because I really don't know if it will. Here come breakers though, getting deleted out of this planet. Here comes a fallen summoner, and no more fallen summoner. This shred is absolutely insane. Keep in mind, this is fallen mode. This is supposed to be the hardest mode besides hardcore. And look at it being just held at the front like it's nothing. In this wave, there's a fallen honor guard, which, by the way, stuns my sledgers. Sledgers unfortunately don't have stun immunity. That's kind of what sets it apart from something like Brawler. But let's be honest, if you kill things fast enough to the point where they don't have time to stun, what's the issue? Now I have to tell y'all this straight up. This setup right here is definitely not enough to beat Fallen quick enough. To achieve hidden wave, that is. As a matter of fact, this setup isn't good enough to even beat Fallen. This because sadly Pursuit on its own is just not strong enough. I would need another tower like Ranger or Engineer, and well, I brought Golden Crook Boss and Sledger. As amazing as Sledger is, I mean, take a look at it. This one has done 140k damage. That's like as much as 3 of my pursuits combined. As amazing as that is, it sucks for bosses, so that's something that actually balances Sledger out. It may be insanely OP for just spawn killing all the normal enemies, but when it comes to bosses, you do have to keep that in mind. Anyways, let's set my HP to 1. I don't know if I actually have to do this, but I am anyways because, you know, I want to complete all those hidden wave requirements. Would you look at that? My stuff is stunned right now, so that's not really good. You see how far things push up? However, look at these fallen guardians. These guys literally cannot move unless they stun the Sledgers, but when the Sledgers are unstunned, yeah, these fallen guardians are stuck. Now, fallen jesters are making this a big issue for me. Ah, there we go. We glitched them. If the fallen guardians try to stuck right as they get hit by Sledger, they just get frozen in place. So there's a secret buff of Sledger. So now let's go back down to 1x speed and prepare for the Fallen King. As I said, the setup isn't strong enough to beat Fallen King. So what we're going to have to do is probably spawn maybe, I don't know. Let's spawn 200 riot guards with 0.05 spacing. That seems about good. This might actually not be enough because of all the other spawns. Let me send out 200 more. Okay, here they come. Here comes all of the damage. Please kill the Fallen King here. Great, it didn't work. So let's simulate Hidden Wave real quick. I hope you guys know that at the start of Hidden Wave comes out the hardest rush in TDS. It's just a rush of bloated fast tanks. So look at how Sledger deals with that. Spawn them in, and the deadliest rush in all of TDS is being completely neutralized right now by a few Sledgers. Normally you'd need to rely on Freezer and the ability and Medic to unstun everything. Now Sledger just basically held all of that back. Of course you'd still need Medic because this thing gets stunned, but that was the brand new OP Sledger. It's definitely worth it. So if you enjoyed, like, subscribe, use star code E, and I'll see ya next time.